Hello, I'm Dr. Chris Walton. Welcome to this video where I explain to you how we get the body, health, and fitness that we want in midlife. Now, if you're a middle-aged man, you know that your body doesn't run the same as it did when you were younger. You don't recover the same, we don't bounce back as quickly, we don't produce as much energy, we're not as resilient to stress, we tend to ache a little bit more, we put on belly fat easier, and we lose muscle. All of these things happen in midlife to men. Now, these issues get worse as we get older unless we do something about it. Simon came to me experiencing all of these things, being fatigued and 2.5 stone overweight. Within 6 months, personalising his plan, this is the shape he got into. We'll be hearing more about Simon later. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you 3 things. The first one is the hidden stressors that are draining our health and energy in midlife. Now, this is pretty shocking stuff, but it's stuff that we need to know because this is the playing field we're on, and we need to know how we can play this game to the best of our ability. So stay with me on this one for the first couple of minutes. The second part, I'm going to show you what you need to do and what you need to put in place to get the body, the health, and the fitness that you want as a midlife man. And then the third section, I'm going to show you the advanced testing system that I use to find out exactly what's going on in your body and exactly what your body needs to restore the health and fitness that you want. Now, as middle-aged men, we experience these limitations in midlife, but it's not just because we're getting older and things are starting to slow down and break down a little bit. Yeah, that happens. But a huge reason for this is the amount of stress that the environment today places on our body. And I call these the hidden stressors because these are things we can't particularly see or touch or feel directly, yet they're having serious negative health implications, specifically to middle-aged men. So every day we are surrounded by thousands of environmental toxins, pollutants, heavy metals, plastics, we've got chemicals sprayed on the food. Now every day we've got these toxins flowing through our blood, thickening our blood, which isn't good, getting into our organs and then getting into our cells, disrupting the function of the body. Our metabolism slows down when we have toxicity and extra inflammation, meaning we put on belly fat easier. We don't have the amount of energy. We can't produce that amount of energy because so much of our energy is being used to get rid of those toxins. Our recovery is slower because of that, and it disrupts our hormones also. Now, testosterone in men has been going down 1% a year since the 80s. This is serious stuff for middle-aged men. Now, this toxicity and increased inflammation can be at the cause level of serious disease. Because our immune system is constantly being worked, then it leaves us vulnerable to what the immune system should be working on, which is the viruses, the infections, and the disease processes. And that's why we are seeing, since COVID, an increase in heart disease, cancer, diabetes, autoimmune, and chronic fatigue in middle-aged men. This is very concerning, but this is what's happening. So obviously, we want to be able to inoculate ourselves from these serious diseases as best as we can and as quickly as we can. So, how do we then get the body, the health, and the fitness that we want in midlife? Let me offer you 3 approaches. The first choice is you can try and do something yourself. You might have done this, you try a diet plan or you try a few supplements that you've read about or seen on the web or something that sound great. You maybe cut your calories a little bit, or you try doing more steps or some basic stuff like that. Maybe you try some sort of exercise plan. But generally speaking, for most people, that will not cut it in midlife. General guesswork approach, yeah, it's perhaps better than doing nothing, but it won't get you that health and that fitness that you want in midlife. Now, health and fitness are not the same. They're different things. Obviously, they're related. But you can be a pretty fit guy, but not very healthy. You could be carrying disease processes, viruses, all sorts of things that are not making you healthy, but you can still be reasonably fit. But you can also be really healthy. You can be a healthy guy, no disease processes, really healthy, but you just don't really exercise much, so you're not very fit. So you can have both sides of the coin. But what's for sure in midlife, in the environment we live today, health has to come first. You know, that old saying, health is wealth. I think in midlife we appreciate that more than we did when we were in our 20s. And one thing's for sure, everything has to be based on a foundation of health and build your fitness from there. Because you can be reasonably fit, but if you don't have good health, you're not going to have that fitness for long. The health side of things will catch up with you. And again, we know that in midlife. So building your strength and fitness off a solid foundation of good health is the way to go. Now, a second option is to hire a personal trainer, but you'll tend to get generic workouts, a generic nutritional plan based on what they believe is the right way for you to eat and how many calories you should have, and a generic supplement plan. Now, generic approaches don't work very well in midlife. Some trainers offer blood tests with their packages, and they explain that they can do everything from your blood work, personalize your program, personalize your nutrition. Unfortunately, that's just not true. They're lying. Blood work gives you a snapshot in the moment of what's happening, which is continually changing. Blood work doesn't tell you what are the causes of the problems, what's actually happening, and what you need to do to improve your health and fitness. So in the real world, to improve your health and fitness, blood tests are not the tests that you want. Now, the third option is what I do. I use an advanced testing system used by specialist doctors and professional sports clubs to get to the cause of health and fitness issues. Now, the test is done from a simple cheek swab. So I send you a kit, you get it, simply swab the inside of your cheek for a few seconds, pop that back, and then you send that back to me. And I can get all the information I need about your body by testing it against your DNA on the sample. Now, this is a very comprehensive testing panel where there are 8 tests that give us the exact information that we need to know about your body and what your body needs. So the first test is what's called an organ function test. So this is where I test every organ of the body, looking to find out, are your organs functioning normally? Or are they under functioning due to stress, inflammation, toxicity? Now, the first organ I scan is your brain. I scan your brain in 3 places, again, looking for these stressors. Then we move on to the thyroid, to the lungs, to the heart, to the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, liver, gallbladder. Every organ is scanned to see if your organs are functioning normally, you're healthy. If they're under functioning, it's impossible to be healthy. So this is the first thing we want to know, because this gives us a comprehensive view of your health of your body to start off with. For example, if you've got stress in the stomach, you're not digesting your food properly. If you've got stress in the small intestine, you're not absorbing the nutrients properly. If you've got stress in the liver, the gallbladder, the kidneys, you're not detoxing properly. All of these things obviously are going to limit your health. So if we find this, then we go to the next level to find out, but what's the cause of that stress on those organs? Because without finding the cause, it's hard to fix the problem. Not impossible, but it's certainly harder to fix the problem if you don't know what's causing the problem. So the next part of the testing goes to find the causes. This is where I test you for viruses, infections, parasites, mold, heavy metals, toxicity. These are the things that make us sick. These are the things that can lie dormant in the body until we get a bit of stress, any type of stress, and then they activate again. And many people have felt this over the last 5 or 6 years, again, since COVID, where they feel okay for a while, and then the same sort of symptoms come back again. That's because the underlying causes haven't been dealt with. The other aspects of the test get to your nutrition. So we test, do you have any nutritional gaps, missing nutrients? You have to change this straight away, because if you want to be healthy, you've got to make sure you've got all the nutrients in the body. And then the final test is what I call a food intolerance test. And this is essential to know, because you want to know what foods really work for your body, boost your energy and health, and what foods rob your body of energy and health. And that's what food intolerances do. Food intolerances are foods, drinks or sweeteners that we digest, and for whatever reason, our body finds it hard to digest them, harder to metabolize them. The body doesn't really want them. And what happens then is you get an inflammatory response because the immune system's kicked in thinking it's something bad in the body. So you get inflammation. Now that's serious stuff. So again, you want to make sure that you're staying off those foods that create inflammation and drain your energy and focus on the foods that really boost your energy and your health. And this is what we get from this comprehensive testing panel. So this allows me to do really precision personalization to your body only. This is the best way to get the health and fitness that you want in midlife. Now remember what I said earlier is we then build the fitness from there. Let's get you healthy. Let's get you energized. Let's get you well. And then let's build the fitness. And then that's where I create a specific fitness program for you based on your medical history, your exercise history, your test results, and of course your resource, where you're going to train, what type of training, how long you've got. Obviously it has to fit into your lifestyle, and I create that for you. Now, I've got over 45 years of physical training experience. I've been weight training and training since I was 10 years of age. I'm 56 as I do this video. So I've had the pleasure to coach at the highest level of sport, world champions, world record holders, world number ones, and Olympic athletes, Olympic champions. It doesn't get much higher than that. I've also coached hundreds and hundreds of guys that are complete beginners to get the body, health, and fitness that they want long term. So remember, I focus on getting your health right and build the fitness from there, because without having solid, healthy foundations as a middle-aged man, you're vulnerable, and we have to eradicate that. Simon joined my one-to-one program as a 56-year-old man. He was 2.5 stone overweight, feeling sluggish, fatigued, and lost his direction a little bit. So I applied all the tests. We found that he had some underlying viruses that we need to get rid of. Then I personalized his nutrition, his supplementation protocol, and his physical exercise. Within 6 months, he had quite a transformation. You can see him here. He's fit, he's strong, he's put on muscle, and he feels mentally and physically fantastic. And also, he got a new job and his whole new lease of life in his career. So this is a fantastic turnaround, and just shows you what you can do to your body, even in your mid to late 50s, with precision personalization. Chris joined my one-to-one program as a 46-year-old man. He was 2 stone overweight. He hadn't exercised for 10 to 15 years. He said he had poor health and energy and was also experiencing a lot of anxiety, and he didn't know why. So I ran the tests, and straight away I could see he was missing a lot of nutrients, and he was also showing food intolerances to wheat, gluten, and dairy. Now, 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, he was eating foods with wheat, gluten, and dairy in them. This would create a lot of inflammation in his body. I created a personalized program for Chris, which was focused on the foods that his body wants to boost energy and health, and staying off those intolerance foods, creating a specific supplementation program so his body's got all the nutrients that it needs, and a tailored exercise plan. Within 2 weeks, his anxiety had gone. And I explained to Chris, yep, that's because it wasn't a psychological cause. It was a physiological cause from the toxicity and the inflammation. And the inflammation gets into the brain, activates those stress centers, and we feel anxious. 2 weeks later, that inflammation's gone. So there's no stress in the brain, no anxiety. Over the next 3 months, he was training regularly. He did a 10K race, felt fit and strong. He'd lost 10 pounds of body fat and was happy and positive again. So if you are serious about improving your body, your overall health and well-being, and your strength and fitness, I would like to offer you a free body health and fitness analysis session with me. This is a 30-minute call over Zoom where I ask you a series of structured questions. So we dive into any symptoms, your overall health, well-being, energy. We look at that, we look at your fitness, and then we decide what needs to be done here. Where are the problems? What are the blocks? What's happening? And I can give you my advice on this call. I also then share with you my Fit Over 40 Elite one-to-one program. So that's where we work one-to-one. I send you a test kit. It's a swab. So you swab the inside of your cheek, send that back to me. I run this panel of 8 tests Then we jump on a call, we go over your test results, and then I build that personalized program from there. So when you work one-to-one with me, you have full support and full guidance for the length of the time that we work together. And this is very, very important, because when you're working with health and fitness, it's not just about changing the odd workout here and there and, making sure that you're accountable to training and all that sort of stuff. It's about getting you healthy, well, energized, feeling good, and that you need a little bit more knowledge for than just your general personal training stuff. So if this is something that you're interested in, simply click the link below. That'll open up an application form. Fill that form, takes less than 1 minute. That comes to me. I personally review each form, and then I send you my diary for you to book in your 30-minute session. Now, I also give a personal guarantee with my one-to-one program. If you join my one-to-one program, I can guarantee you that you will get the body, the health and fitness that you want, which we set out right at the start of the program. And I can guarantee that because everything I do is based on the tests and precision personalization based on those tests. Plus, I've got over 45 years training experience and over 30 years clinical experience. I've coached thousands of people over this time. And I bring all of that to the table to get you the body, health and fitness that you want in the fastest amount of time. So I look forward to seeing you on your free session soon.